Stony Blair that makes you guilty of premeditated murder?
She raped my son. I intentionally killed her.
How did you do that?
Starting from the beginning, when I found out about what Stony was doing, it was 9 months later after finding out about Stephen. So for the whole 9 months we were in the house, she was still raping my child. I did not know that. When I first found out, after told me, I took a minute because I was not understanding, what was that she did that to him. But I repeatedly punched her. On many occasions, my son, I told him to tell me every single thing she did to him. So as she was telling me, he was telling me more and more things that she did. I assaulted her every time he told me what she did to him. By assault, I mean I punched her. I have put a bag over her head till she lost consciousness. I threw hot water on her, scalding hot water from the faucet.
Did you hit her in the head with a whip
Yes,
stick?
I hit her on her head multiple times, over and over.
Was that shortly before she died?
That was actually days before she died and the day she died.
Okay.
I hit on her back. It's like her tailbone. I kicked her.
Okay, I just want to clarify a few things. And perhaps you don't know, but did this happen on or about May 25th, 2014? To the best of your
May
recollection?
25th is actually the day she died. Well, the day I killed her.
And you said you killed her by putting a grocery bag over her head?
Yes, that day would tell me different things because she was doing this to him for years. I did not know that. You get what I'm saying? And I didn't find out till 9 months later. She had started with Stephen. She ruined my son, okay? She started with Stephen before he even started. So, yes, I put a bag over her head, but it got worse that day. Yes, I did. It got worse that day because she would tell me how she would take her pad, her menstrual pad, and squeeze her blood out in his mouth, okay? And it was over with after that. It was over with.
You meant to kill her?
I definitely meant to kill her.
Wasn't an accident?
No, not at all. If I had a chance to do it again, I would.
When you went and got the grocery bag and suffocated her, that was your intent?
Yes. She was standing in the bathtub. I was throwing hot water on her. My son was standing to my right outside the bathroom door, and he was telling me everything he was telling me. I looked at her and I'm like, "You did this?" And she was like, "Yes." So I actually had a stick and I was hitting her in the head. Every time he told me something, I hit her very hard in her head, and I was throwing hot water on her. And when I actually took her out of the bathroom, I took her back in her room, and I just kept staring at her, and I said, excuse my language, to him, just like, I'm constantly asking her. She kept saying, "I hate him." And I'm like, "You hate him?" And she admitted to me that she hated Stephen. She hated everybody. And I'm asking her why. She says, "Because everybody always thinks so cute." And I'm like, "So you brother," because you get what I'm saying. So I meant to. I definitely meant to. And I do not feel any remorse for what I did to Stony. Because she had no remorse for what she did to my son. It's not only raped him, she gang raped him with Stephen. We're all sitting on the floor and he was telling me, this is how I found out about both of them doing it together. But it was too late. Stephen was gone. But told me that Stony would actually make him sit there while, in his words, her and Stony did the nasty stuff, and then they did it to him. And
so this was your way of inflicting punishment?
Definitely.
Okay. Where did that happen?
What?
Where did it?
The death.
Her actual death?
Yes.
Not
the location of the house. Where did you live at the time?
Oh.
Is that the city of Detroit?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, go ahead.
Can we
Stony for.
Okay, yeah. Did you ever actually see anything of any sexual abuse of any kind between either Stephen and Stony?
I reject her question, but I will answer it because no one will say that this did not happen because it actually did.
I just want to have a clear record. Because so far all you've told me was that you just heard it. Did you ever
And that they admitted it. No, I did not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I
But
understand.
as I went back in my head and thought back to all the many things that was wrong with you over the years, and I'm like, that's what was wrong with you? He'll use the bathroom and say, Mom, my butt hurts when I poop. I don't know. So I started giving him 100% juice to make his stool softer, maybe to help him use the bathroom. That wasn't the problem. It wasn't his stool. It was that he was being raped. Okay? My son looked me in my eyes and he gave me a very detailed account of everything they did. Was not a violent boy. He is a very sweet little boy. So for him to stand there and look at me and say, do it again, he was hurting. You know?
Okay.
At a certain point, I told him to stop talking. And I said, Stony, you tell me what did to my son. And I said, if she said anything that's not right, tell me. She started telling me many things. And I also asked her, so why didn't Stephen tell me that when I asked him, did anybody do this to him? Why didn't he tell me that you did it to him? Because Stony was going upstairs, beating Stephen's ass, threatening him. Basically, at a certain point, after I was hitting Stephen, I didn't want to look at him. I didn't want to look at him, so I told him to go to his room. When it came time to eat, I didn't want to take no food up, so I sent Stony up because she volunteered, not knowing at that time that Stony was raping either of them. But every time she went upstairs, I wouldn't have known if she hit him or not because I had put many bruises on him. So every time she went upstairs, she admitted to me that she was hitting him also, knocking the hell out of him, telling him, you better not tell her nothing.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I understand. When she admitted these things to you, were you always being physical with her?
The first time, no. We were sitting there.
Okay.
She denied it constantly. I'm like, Stony, you better tell me sitting here. He don't know nothing about it. He constantly, you get what I'm saying? Who would admit that? Who would admit that if they did not do it?
All right, tell me what happened with Stephen.
Basically the same thing. Can I ask you a question first? The people standing behind me, this woman who just asked the question, is she trying to make it seem like this did not happen?
No. We just have to have a clear record.
Okay.
This is your time to talk. Go ahead.
All we're trying to do is just make sure that the record is clear. Okay. And so, don't worry about the reaction. Just do the negotiation.
Right now, ma'am, this is just you choosing to plead guilty. The people do not have any sort of plea agreement.
Yeah, because, you know, it's like I'm willing to take a polygraph test. It's like, because I understand people don't want to hear me, period, but I'm willing to take it on everything.
I'm listening to you. Tell me what happened to Stephen.
I came home one day. My daughter, my oldest, met me at the door, and she's like, Mom, come see what he's doing with his dials. And I'm like, what is he doing? He was making one dial, his little wrestle man, hump on top of the other. No, I'm like, why was you doing that? I said, anybody ever do this to you? He said, no. I said, then why are you doing that? And he said, yes, Stephen did. And I was like, so this is the first I'm hearing about that, period. This was 9 months before Stony. Okay, Stony wasn't downstairs, and she was always in the background. I wish to God I had questioned everybody together, but I didn't.
Would you say this was around August 30th, 2012?
No, this was before August 30th. August 30th is when he died.
Okay.
This was maybe a week and a half.
Before he died?
Yes.
Okay. So that, telling you that set off some action?
Yes, I went upstairs because Stephen was upstairs in his room. And I went upstairs and I said, Stephen, said you was humping on him. And then Stephen stood up and he looked at me, and right then I could tell something was wrong in his face because he was just like this. Any normal kid, I know my kid would have been like, what? That's not what he did. He stood up and looked at me like he done lost his mind. Okay? And it just, hearing that from him had me up in my head, period. But I asked him, I said, Stephen, tell me the truth. Was you humping on? He said, yes, but that was all. And I said, did you hump on him with your underwear off? He said, no. Yelled out, yes, he did. And I just remember going in the hallway, walking back and forth, like, and I walked back up and I was like, you your brother? You get what I'm saying? You your brother. So I'm looking at them too. I'm looking at them like, what? I can't understand. So I start punching Steven. You know, I'm like, what the are you doing to him? I just started asking him questions. At this point, it's just spilling out. He's just spilling out. And Mom, and he's doing like this, and he do this thing almost every night. He tell me how he was, the reason I put bags over Steven's head, because I thought he in the bed. My son was never a bedwetter. Didn't know it was Steven waking up every morning, pissing on like he was a damn piece of shit, okay? They had bunk beds. Steven would get out the bed in the middle of the night. You would rape him in his own bed. You would pee on him instead of going to the bathroom. I'm waking up every morning thinking he was a bedwetter. So we just wash him up and going, you a bedwetter.
Let's
So
talk about what you did to Steven.
the reason I put bags over Steven's head because my son told me that the plastic on his bed, because I thought he was a bedwetter, he said, sometimes, Mom, I couldn't breathe. Steven was laying on me, and he had my face down in the plastic on the bed. I couldn't breathe, and he was humping on my butt like a basketball. That's when I got a garbage bag and started putting it over Steven's head, and I started asking him, bitch, you know what I'm saying? You see what this feel like? You can't breathe? You stop at that's my son. You could not breathe on top of getting raped. You was 6 years old at the time. You get what I'm saying? So I put the bags over his head. He lost consciousness. I did that a couple times. He tell me that would be face down. He had stuff around his neck. So I grabbed Steven and I grabbed a belt and I put a belt around his neck and I lifted him up like, do you like how this feels being choked with a belt? So I dropped him. I held him up until he lost consciousness as well.
You were intending to...
No, I did not intend to kill Steven.
No, I'm not... Listen to my question. You were intending to inflict serious physical harm, but not kill him.
Definitely.
Okay. Did you also punch him?
Yes, I did. Multiple
also
times.
kick him?
Yes, I did.
You talked about choking him. Did you also burn him?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how did you do that?
Hot water. Scalding hot water. In our bathroom, the hot water gets extremely hot. So, his private area, I stood him in the bathtub naked. You my son with your, you know? So yes, I threw hot water in his genital area multiple times. Every time Steven peed in my son's eyes. He put his in his ears, his nose. He peed. Even told me one time, Mom, and in my eyes it was gooey, but it wasn't pee. And right then, it was like, I didn't even know a 9-year-old could ejaculate. You get what I'm saying? So not only did you do that, you did it in my son's eyes. So my son had to go through all of this shit. So yes, I threw hot water on him repeatedly.
Did that make him burn?
Yes, it did. His skin came off.
Did you also make him drink Windex?
Yes, I did, because told me in the middle of the night he had took him in the basement and he made him drink the blue stuff from under the sink. And I'm like, what blue stuff? So I walked downstairs, he showed me what I said, you made drink Windex. And then I went back to like years before and I'm like, is this what was wrong with him? I thought he had the stomach flu where you vomit and have diarrhea. You get what, at the same time, at that time, this is what was going around. A lot of people had it, so this is what I thought had. He didn't. Steven made him drink Windex. So yes, I made that boy drink Windex.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify the record. Okay, again, you knew you were seriously harming him, but you didn't intend to murder him.
No.
Okay. But your actions ultimately caused his death.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Were you Steven's mother?
Yes.
He was in your custody?
I don't claim him as my son now, and I do not claim Stoney as my daughter. I have 2 children. That's it. Steven and Stoney are demons. Period.
Listen to my question. At the time he died, he was in your custody or care?
Yes.
Okay. How old was he?
Steven was 9.
And again, did this happen at your house in the city of Detroit?
Yes.
What you did to Steven was punishment for what you did. Is that right?
For what he did to
Sorry,
yes.
for what Steven did to
And if I had killed Steven intentionally, I definitely would be proud to say I did. but I didn't. But I know all the things that I did to him, how I hurt him, I know it did cause his death. You know what I'm saying? It was like that day, the day that he died, I went in his room, it was throw up in front of him on the bed. I got him up. He said he had to go to the bathroom, but he couldn't use the bathroom. By the time we came out the bathroom, his breathing was crazy. Stephen usually has a strong heartbeat, but it was really faint, really, really faint. And then all of a sudden, he just started going like this, and I was holding him. We were both sitting on the floor, and I'm actually holding him up. He couldn't even hold himself. I'm like, Stephen, doing like this, because the day before that, I actually said, I'm going to stop, because I looked in the room and like, he is toe up, you know.
Were you starving him at this time as
No,
well?
I never starved him, and that's another thing that they're not understanding. He may have lost weight, but because they had their hands and they controlled him in every type of way, down to food. They would take his meat, basically. We didn't always eat together. I thought him and Stephen was very close. Stephen would manipulate me. Mom, can we up in our room? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I'm thinking that's his best friend, that's his brother. That's how he made it seem. But that's a lie. He kept up under his wing on purpose. Man, never wanted to be around Stephen, and I don't know how I didn't see that. So they would take his food. It would actually only let him eat his vegetables. So yes, when I fed Stephen, he only got vegetables and like healthy things, and it was minimal, like oatmeal and things like that. He did not get meat. Stole from my son, and actually when I tried to feed him, my son said, Mom, that's bold. They used to take my food all the time. That's bold. You get what I'm saying? So yes. Now Stony, I did starve her. I did. 9 more months, you going in your big ass. She was 13. My son told me how she used to sit on his face, and he said, Mom, it stinks real bad. And she was, you know what I'm saying? Yes, I did. And then oatmeal is all that girl got. And she's lucky she got that once a day.
Stony only got oatmeal?
Oatmeal once a day. She's very lucky she got that. And I even have to hide the fact that I was giving her oatmeal because he didn't want me to feed her, and he had every right to feel that way.
Hold on, just where can we get Kleenex right there?
No, I'm good.
You're okay? Okay. I just have a few more questions. When you were physically harming Stephen, was it ever your intent to also cause any sort of serious mental harm?
What? I don't understand what you mean.
When you were hurting him physically, was it also your intent to cause any sort of serious mental harm?
What do you mean, mentally damage him?
Yes.
Like beating him in the head?
No, like making it so that his thoughts aren't right.
No,
Does that
never.
make sense? Okay.
Physical punishment on what you did to my child, because I had always told my kids the worst thing you can ever do to somebody is rape them. I always told my son that, and I always told the girls the worst thing you could do is cry rape on somebody if they didn't rape you. They fully knew what they were doing.
So you were only intending physical punishment?
Yes.
All right, now, just so that I'm clear, you weren't allowing them to treat your other children like this, were you?
What do you mean?
You weren't allowing them to sexually assault.
I wasn't allowing that. I never knew.
That's exactly,
You get what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I wanted to know. You didn't know until afterwards.
It's like,
Am I right?
yes.
Okay.
It's this one instance, I was asleep. Why you didn't tell me? He said, Mom, I even ran in the hallway and I had your hand. I was asleep. My son ran out and grabbed my hand. He was 6 and he was doing like this, trying to wake me up. Stephen was grabbing him back by the back of his shirt, pulling me. And I said, why did you just scream out? He said, I don't know. You get what I'm saying? He even had my hand pulling on me, trying to wake me up. And since I'm a hard sleeper, I didn't wake up. So to hear my son say that to me is real up that should happen right up under my nose. So, man, I don't regret none of this. I don't regret any of it. With my son, that's my baby. There's no way that his brother and sister should know what he feels like inside. There's no way.
Understood.
I don't feel no remorse for the death of them demons.
Okay. All right. I'm going to accept the plea unless either counsel's dissatisfied. Oh, medical examiner's report. Go ahead.
Your Honor, the medical examiner report for Stephen Gangsberry is Joint People and Defense Exhibit number 1. It's dated March 27, 2015. The medical examiner's report for Stoney and Blair is Joint People and Defendant Exhibit number 2, all dated March 27, 2015.
they're accepted and they're admitted.
Your
Go ahead.
Honor, I'm wondering if Ms. Blair ever called the police to report